Susan Etcher here with the Leaders World, brought to you by Leaders World Institute. It's true, my voice is raspy because for the past 3 days I've been struggling. But hey, when duty calls, I am here. When duty calls, I am here. Today we are looking at the part two of Women Action, Empowerment, and Inclusion to wrap up the Women's History Month for this year 2024. Yay! Today is special. Today is special because for the very first time, we have younger women. The entire panel is made up of younger women that are going to speak to us. They are leaders in different spheres, and today they'll be speaking with us. I'll be introducing them. We're gonna have Virtuous. Virtuous is a 21-year-old senior art diplomat at Goucher College, and she's pursuing a double major in psychology, integrative arts with specialization in art therapy. She serves as an advanced mentored research intern, delving into this impact of social determinants on the quality of life within underrepresented, marginalized communities. There is quite a lot that Virtuous does, but we're gonna hear from her herself. For now, I'd just like you to welcome Virtuous as we welcome her to the studio. You're very welcome, Virtuous.
Hi, hello. I'm happy to be here.
Glad to have you. Thank you so much for saying yes to us. We also have Kailey. Kailey Sweet is a project manager and owner. She is a 25-year-old professional with expertise in project management, business planning, and financial analysis. As a project manager at Universal Language Solutions, she excels in recruitment, training, and client relations. Previously, she served as the CFO at Liberty Translations and Interpreters, managing finances and implementing growth strategies. She holds an associate degree and has completed several Google certificates in project management. There is a lot more we can say about Kailey, but guess what? She's going to talk about herself by herself. So for now, I'd like you to join me. Welcome to the studio, Kailey. Hi, Kailey.
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me today.
We are excited that you chose to hang out with us to just talk about women, action, and empowerment and inclusion. We are super duper excited about this and we say thank you so much. We have one more person, and that's Mischka. Mischka is a 26-year-old residing in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, and she holds degrees in political science and Arabic from McDaniel College with a passion for linguistic and organizational structure. Mischka is recognized as a pioneer and thought leader. She is the founder and CEO of Whistle and Ride editing company, aiding Christian authors nationwide in manuscript preparation. Additionally, she manages numerous residential construction projects annually. There is much more we could say, but like I said before, we're going to let her speak for herself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studio, Mischka. Hi, Mischka.
Hi, so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I just, like you said, I have a passion for project management and all things literature and editing, and I'm just excited to be a part of this panel today. So thank you.
Beautiful, awesome. And I know we had one more. We had Jeannie on the flyer, on the poster. She's on she couldn't make it with us today, but we are looking to have her in our future conversations. But guess what? Kailey, Virtuous, and Mischka, they are here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to share this. But before we delve into the conversations, I'd like for our young leaders to speak about themselves. We'll start with Virtuous. Tell us a little bit about who we have today in the studio.
Hi, hello. I'm so happy to be on a panel with such accomplished young women. I'm Virtuous. As was mentioned, I am a senior arts diplomat at Goucher College, and I'm double majoring in psychology and integrative art studies with a focus on art therapy. I work as an advanced mentored research, and I do a lot of work just again, focusing on underrepresented, marginalized communities and really getting to the root of the quality of life that is really impacting these communities. And I also do some work giving back to my community. I work with a local organization, Earl's Place Transitional Housing, where we organize events and we host art workshops to change attitudes towards homelessness. We work with men who have been released from incarceration and are experiencing homelessness to introduce them back into society. And it is such a great it's such a great movement, and I really have a lot of passion for just working within the community, working for and within the community. So I'm happy to be here.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching us online, let us know that you heard Virtuous and you're ready to hear from Virtuous. You can just put hands up in the chat. Do that, hands up in the chat. Okay. Thank you so much. Or you can put good in the chat. All right. We're gonna have Kailey speak about herself and tell us who we have in the studio.
Hi guys, my name is an owner of a translation and interpretation company. I fell into this industry in 2019. I went over to Bosnia for 6 weeks and firsthand experienced the language barrier. And with that, understood how crucial it is to have proper language access in the United States, especially when people are coming here and starting a new life here. I hope to be a part of their first part of their journey before the English is learned, to connect them with someone in their community, inspire hope, and help them navigate life here. So that's where I get all my fuel from, is the energy that all my interpreters carry. I'm really grateful for my team. And outside of that, I volunteer with an organization called For Pet's Sake. They help with stray cats in the area and so they trap them, they'll fix them, and then they'll release them if they're too feral to be homed. But if they're nice enough, then I'll take them in and I'll work with them and get them like socialized and get them adopted. So I've gotten 26 cats adopted.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you,
Put
guys.
in the chat for us. Put in the chat. Amazing. Let Kailey know you are in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Kailey. Such amazing person doing amazing work in the community. Thank you, Kailey, for joining us once again. And yes, Mischka, let's hear from you. Tell us, who do we have in the studio?
Yeah, so my name is Mischka, and I'm around the same age as the other lady. So I'm 26, and I'm originally from the small town of Westminster. So I went through all my schooling there, including college, as you mentioned a little bit earlier. I went to McDaniel, and I did major in political science and Arabic. So while I was there, I was also involved in very similar efforts to what Virtuous was kind of outlining, of serving like marginalized communities. So definitely something I've been passionate about for a while. But now I do function as a project manager. Like I said, I work for a general contractor. So, we do residential and a bit of commercial. And I really enjoy just, overseeing the projects that I work on. In addition to that, I also run Whistle and Ride Editing that you had introduced a little bit earlier. And that is my editing company. And I'm really passionate just about language and the use of language and just helping people elevate their creative works. I think everyone has a story to tell. And I think, when people write books, that is like that's just the complete embodiment of a part of that person and their heart and what they want to share with the world. And I really am passionate about helping people just take that to the next level and really be able to articulate what's inside their hearts in a way that they can share easily with other people.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to put awesome in the chat. Let Mischka know that you are here and you're ready to listen as we delve into women, action, empowerment, and inclusion. And we will be right back. Please share this with your friends. I mean, even your enemies. You want us to grow,
For your corporate and personal needs.
Leaders World Institute. Changing lives. One leader at a time.
Here we are talking women, action, empowerment, and inclusion. Kailey, when you saw this topic, what came into your mind?
I was really thrilled. I think that a lot of what I do every day is a part of creating empowerment in my interpreters and them like being that confident person in their community to make sure that language is accessible and that the communication is always being clear. And then action is another huge thing for me. I think that anything needs to be, in order for anything to happen, you need to take action, fail again, fail quicker, and reiterate until you get success. So action is something I learned later in life a little bit because I was a perfectionist procrastinator. But now I'm learning I'd rather run and fall than never start running at all. So
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm still with you, Kailey. You talked about action. What do you think are some of the hurdles that keep women? I know that some of these hurdles would be general, meaning that men and women can go through the same situations, but looking at women specifically, have you noticed any specific hurdles that are particular with women? Have you noticed anything like that?
I think as a woman, you have to work that much harder to get respect in your industry, regardless of what industry you're in, because all industries started with male dominance. So we kind of have to begin to pave our way into leadership in a way that shows other women that it's okay to stand up for what you believe in and have a voice, and really just take that extra step to show them they can do it as well.
So it's like not forgetting that there will be hurdles, understanding that the hurdles will be there, but making up our minds to go beyond those hurdles and find the solutions that we are looking for, if I heard you right.
Yes, I did kind of beat around the bush with that question, with how I answered it, but I think there is extra hurdles being a woman, just because of everything that we are trying to stand for as like a leader, as a mother, as like a woman in our everyone's life that's with us. They also see the challenges that come with raising a family, growing in your community, growing in your passion and your professional life as well. So I think that there's a little bit more hurdles, but not anything that we can't accomplish. I think that should empower us, because our ancestors would be so proud of us if they could see what we're doing today. So yeah, I think that let that energy from your ancestors empower you to go over those hurdles.
Well, you heard that from Kailey. You heard that, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm coming to you, Mischka, to ask the same question. When you saw this topic, action, empowerment, and inclusion about women, what came to your mind? What were your first thoughts?
Yeah, so my first thought, first of all, I really love the things that Kailey said, and I completely agree with you, particularly in my industry, right? So I work in construction, and that is like the male-dominated field. We even have, actually, I think last week or the week before was Women in Construction Week. And so we've literally carved out a time just to say, hey, we're here, we exist. It's not just the men in this industry. But yeah, to answer your question, when I saw that the action, empowerment, and inclusion was the topic for today, my first thought was kind of like, wow, this is another attempt to make space for something that has been so much in the background for so long. And I'm just so excited because I feel like in the past several years, even the past couple of decades, a little bit before our time, but I really think that women have been making, leaps and bounds and strides to come to the forefront of our industries. And not in every single industry, there are still male dominated industries, but just the fact that women are coming, to the forefront and saying, we do have value. For example, in construction, it is a male dominated field. However, all of the admin is done by women. All of the support work is done by women. A lot of the client relations, that's done by women. And so, whereas people think that associate hard skills with men and soft skills with women, really women have both. And it actually is like, it's really critical to have both. And we just bring something, something really unique to the table. So I think it's an important topic.
And I'm coming to you, Virtuous, with the same question. And my question to you, Virtuous, is when you saw the topic, women, action, empowerment, and inclusion, what came into your mind? Should we even be having this conversation? Is it superfluous? Is it something that we're just being repetitive of ourselves? Should we be having this conversation? What came into your mind?
Honestly, this is quite a powerful topic. I totally think we need to be having these conversations. Action, empowerment, inclusion. I think these are such key parts of that really impact the women experience, like the two of you on the panel with me have touched on. And I mean, drawing from my personal experience, a lot of the fields and the areas I'm in, like I mentioned before, in research and working with community organizations, we do see that a lot of the time it is women who are reaching out to their communities and really getting involved. But the field or the area with which I work in, that I don't see as many women really getting involved in is I also do a mentorship program with Columbia University. And I think in a lot of these areas where leadership is called upon, in that area, in that way, in ways that people usually consider these to be more so, as Mischka mentioned, hard skills, more so action, empowerment, engaging, it is in those ways that women are then sort of pushed to the sidelines, I would say. And in a lot of these mentorship and leadership programs that I do with the students at Columbia University, I really have to empower myself. I really have to reach in and be strong and take action and know that I don't need to just, sit behind and let everything happen. I need to make these decisions in order to also be able to empower the students that I'm working with, because I really do see it as I'm mentoring these students. I'm empowering them for the next generation. And it really is a lot of drawing and inclusion, because the beauty of womanhood is that we come from all over the world. We come from so many different experiences, and we come with a lot of different strengths and different weaknesses. But when we all work together, we can help one another. Another person's weakness might be a part of someone else's strength. So action, empowerment, inclusion, I think it really is something that needs to be talked more about, and is a way that women can really take charge and do great things out there.
I like something you said. I like how you talked about how you're empowering yourself because you want to be a better leader with the students that you work with. And while thinking on that, I just have this question in mind, which I'm going to direct to Kailey, about how can all women become part of this change? What if there is a woman out there who is saying, oh, you know what? I am comfortable. I don't know what they're talking about. Action, empowerment, inclusion. Well, I am comfortable. I don't need to do nothing else. I am good. I am fine. What would be your thoughts about that mindset?
I think that whoever you are, that's never a good mindset. Having like an open mindset and being flexible to be able to adapt and change to everything is really what's necessary to grow in this world. So I really think that this is a definite needed conversation. And I also think that in order for us to get past any of the boundaries that have been in the past, we have to empower women every day through the way we speak to them, the way we look at them, our facial expressions. We're all just as sensitive, and we all have a lot of pressure on our shoulders. So I think that just showing everyone with kindness, but especially women, just knowing that they are also carrying a lot on their shoulders and they're trying to reach with kindness too every day and lead in that way. I try to always do that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm bringing the same question to you, Virtuous, as well, about if there were a woman or a young woman somewhere that's saying, I'm comfortable, I'm fine, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't think that's for me. How would you respond to that?
Definitely. I mean, I think in some ways this is like a nuanced topic, but in other ways it is not. I do agree. I'm like, a lot of women, people often see a woman who is, at home, she's taking care of the children, and they suddenly think that this woman needs to be out there conquering the world. And to that I say, I believe that, some women, if you have a passion for caring for children, if you have a passion for, finding joy in like staying at home and caring for your children, that's never anything that a woman should be put down for. However, I do believe that every woman needs to be empowered, and the work of a mother is not work. It is still work. It is still raising children. It is still taking care of a household, and that is still empowerment. So I believe a lot of women who are in these situations and they see it and they think, I want to be empowered, but I don't really think that it is my passion to suddenly go there and, conquer the whole world. That's okay. Empowerment looks very different for many different people. So what I'm basically saying out there is, every woman needs to be empowered to do the things that they are passionate about, to do what makes them shine, to do what makes their face light up, to do what makes them glow. And you might be thinking that I don't need to be empowered because I'm happy with life. It is a good thing to be happy with life, but you can always do so much more. And when you are empowered, even what you're already happy doing, being empowered and having that action and strength makes you a better better at whatever you're already doing. If you are working as a teacher, if you are a mother, if you are a nurse, a lot of these fields are more so populated by a lot of women. I would say even within these fields, which people kind of often disregard because they are priority women-led fields, even within these fields, women can be empowered and women do great things. And it's really something that should not be pushed to the side or taken lightly.
Can you put in the chat, please? You're watching us. Put in the chat. Let Kailey, Mischka, Virtuous know you are here. Put there is more. Put in the chat there is more, because that's why we're here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. We're here to talk women, action, empowerment, and inclusion because we actually believe there is more. We believe in you. We believe in the potential that you carry. We believe in just how much more you could bring back to your family, to yourself first, right? To yourself. Yeah, put self first. Put it in the chat. Okay, put it in the chat. Self first. Put it in the chat, please. Yes, to yourself first, and to your family, and to the community, all the organizations that are blessed to have you. Yeah, blessed to have you, because you're not begging to work for them. They are blessed to have you. Okay, there is much more. There is much more, and that's why we are doing this. That's why we're bringing these conversations, so you can look at your life and ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What areas can I be empowered more, so I can be more and do more? So I can be more and do more. And I'm bringing the question of empowerment. What is empowerment? What is empowerment? We are looking at women, action, empowerment, inclusion. What is empowerment? And I'm thinking maybe we start with Mischka and then go around the studio to talk about what empowerment really is. What is empowerment? Mischka.
Yeah, I think empowerment is just giving someone permission to do what it is that they already are able to do. I think it's really an extension of permission. And honestly, even to piggyback off of the question you last posed to, Kailey and Virtuous, I really think that, you were right in that some people might be listening and they might be thinking, I don't really need this conversation. I don't understand. This doesn't apply to me. But the fact of the matter is, as Virtuous said, no matter whether you're a stay-at-home mom, no matter whether you are a career woman, a business woman, whether you're a business owner, whatever, path that women want to take, this issue will touch all of us, right? Because no matter which path you're taking, you will have to come up against the fact that you are a woman navigating through the world. And I think it's important to understand that no matter what sort of circumstance or path that you find yourself in, that you can be empowered in your specific walk. And I think empowerment looks different for different people. So depending on what your goals are, I think the empowerment is just the permission to be able to step into whatever it is that you desire to do, to step into whatever it is you feel you're called to do, whatever purpose you feel that you are called to fulfill. Just the permission to say that, no, you are able to do this. It's not because you're a woman that you're any less intelligent, less able. I think that's super important just to have as a mindset, right? Especially for young women coming up in the world who, there's so many things that they could do and so many voices where people are telling you, you could be this or you can't be this. I think it's important that young women and just women in general are empowered or given the permission that whatever it is that you believe that you're called to do, you are able to do it. I think it's super important.
Okay, thank you very much. So that was Mischka telling us about empowerment, and she looks at it from the point of view of it being an extension of permission. You're giving yourself the permission to be able to step into that which you believe you are called to do, you're made for. Kailey, what do you think about empowerment?
I think that she's exactly spot on. I think empowerment is very essential for every single industry, even because having women empowered in every industry is going to show the next woman that she could do it, or it's going to inspire the woman to go into another industry maybe we haven't been in yet. So I think having that female empowerment is huge, but any type of empowerment in general is very needed, I think, for any industry to feel that growth and feel that fire.
Right. So that's
yes. Wow. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Yeah, that brings me to the question of role models, Kailey. From what you said, that just opened up the question of role models, the importance of having role models in life. Is that something that you think about often, Kailey?
Yes, I think that like role models throughout my life have definitely pertained to my success. It could be anything from a teacher like saying, "Hey, you should go after this," or it could have been my first internship. All these little small pieces of like impact that people had, just maybe inspiring hope into me, I think was important. But I also do seek out mentorship and women that have kind of been there and done that, maybe not in the same way, but in their own way, because I think that it's necessary to have that support with you.
Wow, wow. And that brings me to just I just feel like I should go around the room and just, do you want to give a shout out to maybe one or two women? I know there are several women that have meant a lot in your lives. Do you want to give a shout out to maybe one or two women out there that have meant a lot to you and who are impacting the life? It's, after all, it's Women's History Month. Why should we round off without showing off the women that have meant a lot in our lives? Well, maybe we should start with who wants to start? Who wants to start? Maybe we should start with Mischka. Just one or two women.
Yeah, I think that first, the first woman that is like my mentor in life is my mom. Because she's the one who I
Hey,
learned.
Mom, we're showing off about you here. Can you tell her name? What's her name?
She's the one who birthed me and really, has taught me so much of what it is to be a woman. I think even in today's society, there's the whole back and forth about what a woman even is, but it's more than just what we look like. It's about what we bring to the table and how we move through the world, how we navigate, and what our unique skills and just innate ability.
Okay, Mischka, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Girls, do you see how she wants to take up this entire show
I
talking
know.
about mom? It's okay for her name to be a secret, but if you want to shout out her name, we are okay with that.
Yeah, so my mom's name is Susan. I love you, Mom, and thank you so much.
We love you too. We love you, and we can feel it from Mishka's heart, all your impact in her life. And thank you so much for being that person in her life. Is there anybody else you wanted to mention, Mishka?
There are a few women in my life, and I just would want to say thank you to them because, like Kailey said, I do think that they have literally molded me into who I am today, and I also attribute my success to a few key women in my life. So
yeah, beautiful. Maybe we should go to Kailey as well. Kailey, do you want to do a shout out to any women out there? One or two?
I'll do a shout out to my mom as always.
Okay, moms. Okay, moms.
Can't forget mom. And then my second shout out would probably be like my first, like, I guess just like a woman leader that I always looked up to. Her name is 𝕉𝕬 and she always just showed me like what it's like to be a kind leader and lead with authenticity and always be looking out for other women. And even if this isn't going to connect you in any way, I know I can connect these two. So she always just showed me like lead with love and you'll be connected with the right people. So I'm grateful for her.
Wow. Oh, wow. And it's okay if you want to keep mom's name secret, but if you want to call her name and do a shout out. So
my name is Denise. So shout out to Denise.
Hello, Mom Denise. Shout out to you. We love you. Thank you for all the influence you've had in Kailey's life. And we will do the same for Virtuous as well. Maybe one or two women. And it's okay if you want to keep their name secret. If you want to shout out their names, that's fine. But one or two, that's fine.
Yes. Well, as we all might guess, shout out to my mom as well, my biggest inspiration. And also shout out to my art teacher from high school, Miss Hall. I always think about her because I remember I had finished a piece and she was like, this is really good. I'm going to submit it for the Baltimore Art Gallery. And I was like, are you sure it's going to be in the actual big museum? She's like, yes, this is really good. And she did. And I was so happy. And I remember another time she was like, there's a scholarship that has opened up for college and I'm going to submit your name for it. So just send me like your name and everything. And I sent it to her. And I remember we had gone into the pandemic at the start of college. And then I just received the check in the mail and I messaged her. I was like, I don't know. I just got a random check for a scholarship for college. Is this the one you submitted me for? She's like, yes, I'm so happy you got that. And at every step of the way, I just felt like I wasn't even looking for these things. She just always thought of me. She just always pulled me into the room. And also shout out to the women in my life who might not even be older than me, might be the same age as me. I remember there's a young lady who she was just in the year above me, but she has started working at Columbia University for the internship. And that was the first internship I ever had. And she was like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this thing every summer. If you're interested, you could start. It's like a program. It's an internship. It's really amazing. You get connected with a lot of people. How about I just write your name down for it? And she just pulled me into the room. And I just always appreciate the women who, like you've all touched on, they're thinking, this is working really well for me. How about I grab someone else into the room? How about I share this success and this joy with another woman who, again, like in these situations, if they had never mentioned these things, I wouldn't have even known, but they thought of me, and I will always be grateful for those.
Shout out
out there supporting one another. Shout out.
I felt the energy in the room when I asked you ladies to just talk about the role models in your life. And I believe that that's what life is meant to be all about, making connections and keeping connections with people who actually fuel the fire within us. Can you talk about, the power of inclusion and how it's important to look at inclusion and connect that with what it is that is important in fueling the passion in other people and how other people can feel the passion in you as well. And I like how Virtuous talked about peers, because it's not always women who are older or older people. Sometimes it's peers, people who are at the same maybe level, social level, academic level with you. Because as far as mentorship is concerned, we always look at maybe 3 levels. The first level is people you're looking up to, people who are like 10 years ahead of you in the area that you're looking to grow skills in. They're like 10 years or more ahead of you. And then there are people that are at the same level. They are growing with you. You're falling and rising with them. There are people who challenge you. There are people who look at you in the face and tell you, girl, you messed up on this one. Girl, you need to go back and apologize. People who are not gonna pamper you when you are misbehaving. Why? Because they understand your passion, they understand your commitment to excellence, they understand where you want to go in life, and they hold you accountable for what they know you stand for. And then there is also people that you are raising up. There is also people who you are raising up. So let's talk about inclusion and just how this can work out in our different domains. Did you want to begin, maybe, Mischka?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, this is, I'm just excited that you brought this up, because in my personal life, I have found this to be so critical. It has been just, there's been almost nothing more important than inclusion, because I think about all the different areas of my life, and I think about even, church and ministry. And it was important for me to see other women go ahead of me in serving and in the faith. And then even at work, like I said, I work in the construction industry, and to feel that level of comfort, to be able to say and have that confidence in yourself, to be able to say, I can do this. I do have what it takes to take up space in this industry. I think had it not been for the women that I work with that I was able to look up to, I might not have the confidence to step into that role. So I think in every area, it is so critical to see other women going before you, other women that you can use as a reference point to say, okay, I see her doing it. I know that I can do it too. And I think that inclusion is not just, I think it's a number of different things. It's not just age, because it's important to see people, like you said, peers doing the same thing. Like Kailey's also a project manager. Virtuous is also, serving the community. It's important to see peers. But I like what you said about having that mentorship relationship, both up and down, right? Where you're looking ahead to maybe somebody that's gone ahead of you, but also turning back to pass it on to the next generation. I think all that is so important, and I really do think it's foundational to taking your place and being able to settle into your own identity. It's a reference point, and I think it's so important. So
Wow,
thank
thank
you.
you so much for sharing that. And we're looking at Virtuous, speak about inclusion, and what are your thoughts about all this we've been talking about?
Yeah, totally. I mean, inclusion is integral to so much of the work that I do. I feel like similar to what I touched on, it's kind of like the beauty of womanhood is that we come from so many different backgrounds. We come from all over the world. We speak so many different languages. We come from different cultures. And I think the best work you will do is work that is born and is influenced by as many great opinions as you can. And I think this might be a little bit off topic, but I think it really ties in the sense that the people you have around you, it is very important, because if you look around and the people you have around you are people who they're constantly complaining, they are not really, they don't have any goals, they're not really trying to achieve and really go hard in their achievements, you might end up finding yourself, it's kind of it's the people above and the people below. And if those around you are not really strengthening you and encouraging you, you will find yourself just kind of staying stagnant in the same place. But however, if you do look above and you find women who are achieving great things, and you look below and you see women who they might have, they're still coming up in the field, but you can see the passion and you can see the zeal that they have. And you look to your sides and you see women who might be doing something similar or something different. And you can see how they're also really fighting and really working just as hard as you are. You really do feel like, I believe you would be 100% a stronger woman and a stronger person, a stronger leader, a stronger advocate in whatever field that you're in. So the topic of inclusion, it really is integral, because it's kind of like you want different opinions, but you want great opinions. In looking for inclusion and looking for different opinions, it doesn't mean you need to go ask people who, they're not doing anything, they're not achieving anything, and ask them for their opinions. You need to ask people who you're seeing, you're loving what they're doing, and ask them for their opinions and be able to incorporate that into the work you do.
Wow. I like how you put it, because some I haven't thought of it like that. I hadn't thought of it like that until you mentioned it. I've always been thinking maybe inclusion is, oh, let's just have everybody come on in, let's do it, it's inclusion. And now you're bringing a whole different perspective about, the people have to actually qualify and be able to have what it takes, to come in. But I'm also wanting to look at it from the perspective of maybe people who don't qualify yet but need a hand, somebody to raise them. What would be your take on that, Virtuous?
Exactly. I mean, that's why I mentioned two words, passion and zeal, because a lot of the times, if you see someone and they don't have the means, and you see that, you can really see that they have a lot of passion, they have a gift inside of them, but a lot of people are from different backgrounds. They might not have the same opportunities that you might have had. And I think that is a moment, that is an opportunity for you to turn around and give back to someone else who, it's not, this isn't a contest to see who is better than you, who is as good as you. It is a moment to see who has passion just like you do, who has passion just like you might have as well. And how can you turn that passion into action? How can you turn the zeal that they have, and think about whatever resources you might have. If you are now 3 years in the field and they're just starting their first year, what connections have you made? What networking opportunities helped you? Can you maybe point in their direction? Can you say, yeah, I mean, when I was in your situation, this video I watched on YouTube actually explained this perfectly for me. Such a small gesture can really go a long way to helping another woman who might not qualify yet, but has the real passion and real zeal for what she wants to do, and really help another woman achieve her goals.
You know what? I am completely triggered right now. At Leaders World, we have the Excelling Ladies Bootcamp for women entrepreneurs. I have women that, they watch the introduction video. Sometimes they're like, I don't think I'm a leader. And then there are others who are like, I don't think I am able to afford it because it's a paid program. I am triggered right now. If you're watching, I want you, if you're interested in joining us at the bootcamp, I want you to put in the chat Excelling Ladies, and I'll reach out to you with a special offer. I want you to put Excelling Ladies, because right now I am completely triggered. All I need is to see the passion and the interest and the zeal, and nothing is going to keep you out. I want you to put excelling ladies in the chat, and we're going to reach out to you with, and you're going to join us. You're going to join us in the boot camp. Put excelling ladies in the chat. I am completely triggered by this conversation. Kailey, we are talking inclusion. What are your thoughts?
I think that we all have like a valuable piece to bring to every puzzle. So, and in an extent, so like you don't want to include everyone that maybe isn't going to create relevant information for you. So I think obviously everyone wants to be included and connected in different ways. But as long as you are including the people around you who are looking at initiatives similar to you or maybe completely different, empower them to have that conversation and see why are their views so much different. Why, and have that, empower them to stand true to what they do believe in or what they are saying, because you want to have those powerful conversations with people and you want to create the environment to do it. So I think for young women to just be around women who are also lifting them up, that come from different backgrounds and whole different areas of life, walks of life, but they can say, hey, this is how I did it this way. And we can all kind of like grab a little bit from it. And we might not take the whole advice, but there might be one piece that resonates with me and one piece that resonates with you. But I think just making sure that we are always being as inclusive to the people that are willing to receive your message as possible.
Wow. I was thinking while you were talking, Kailey, about, I was listening to Jim Rohn today. If you don't listen to Jim Rohn, go listen to Jim Rohn. Everybody got to listen to Jim Rohn. All right, go listen to Jim Rohn. He's all the personal development, leadership people you can think of, they all have listened to him. I don't think I'm exaggerating. If you think I am, put it in the comment, okay? That's what I think. Go listen to, but I was listening to Jim Rohn today, and he was talking about how if you have the wrong mindset and you stick to it, the reason I'm saying is because you mentioned something about helping them to stand firm in what they do believe in, because sometimes people believe in stuff that's not helping them, and they hold on to it, and you're like, really? And they're still sticking in that same idea. And it's like you've done it for 10 years, it's not working, and you keep holding on to it. What are your thoughts about that, Kailey?
Yeah, I think that's where I think that this is valuable to both us and them, because when you are asking those questions, they're gonna see, like, is what they are standing for really, do they have the information to back it up? Do they have the places to pull from it? Maybe they need to educate themselves more on what they have been doing. Maybe they are just delusional to their own belief. And when you ask that question, it's going to make them take a step back. Someone asked me a question the other day, and it was just like the most random question. It was one of my little interns. They said, what would you do if you wanted to make $1 million? What would the first thing you do be? And that was just like, okay, obviously we all have successful goals, but like, the first thing I would do to make $1 million, I never thought of that. So just like taking his question in and like thinking of it in a different way, I was like, yeah, I'm glad that I listened, because I think that people will hear what they need to hear and take it in their own way.
Right. So talking about educating yourself and empowering yourself. Because you mentioned something, Kailey, about how that's where educating yourself is important, because when you educate yourself, then maybe you can think differently. And Mischka, what do you think about the power of educating yourself as far as being a woman in action and empowerment and inclusion? What's the power of education? Where does that fall into all of this?
Well, first of all, I originally was born in Jamaica in the islands in the West Indies. And just culturally speaking, education is seen for upward social mobility. So my mom always told me that growing up, and it was never, it was never a question of if, it was more so a question of when and where, right? And I've really adopted that kind of mindset, that education really is, the centerpiece of what drives us forward in life. And I've come to understand that it doesn't necessarily even need to be formal education, right? It's mostly just the mindset and the mentality of a continuous a life of continuous learning, a life of continually being a student, learning, wanting to grow and develop and broaden your horizons. And so when we think about even the term education, a lot of people will think, oh, well, I don't have a college degree, I didn't go to university, I didn't go to school. And education formally, there's a place for it, and it is extremely important, I think, especially if you want to infiltrate certain spaces that are traditionally more formally educated. But I think also for our viewers that might be watching, that might be saying, you know, I don't have that formal education, I think you can get just as far, even just with that mindset that I discussed of continuing to learn, you know, especially in the age of technology. We've got YouTube, we've got courses online, we've got, you know, Google courses. We have so many resources on the internet. And I think that, you know, education can take so many different forms if we get creative. But I do think in terms of its importance, it really is the foundation of what's going to push us ahead no matter what path we're taking. Yeah, I think it's so important.
Coming back to you, Kailey, because you triggered this question about education. Do you want to share with us about the place of education in all of this conversation?
Sure. I think that it's always important to be educating yourself. In every situation, there's always something you can learn. So just listening with open ears and seeing what can I learn from this, taking your own personal opinions, maybe not as serious at the time, and just listening, being open for that. But I think that education is very important, because if you're not learning and growing, then essentially you're dying, in my opinion.
If you're not learning and growing, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's the opposite of growing. Virtuous, what do you think about the importance of education in all of this?
Wow, it's been amazing what I'm learning from the other women here on the panel so far. It's amazing. I really do agree, especially talking about upwards mobility. I think it's kind of, if you want change, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? What am I not doing to achieve the goals I want to meet? And a lot of the times, it is because I don't know what I need to do right. So that means that I have to seek out someone else who has done this before, someone else who knows a little bit more about this topic. And I really do agree. It doesn't necessarily even have to be college or formal education. It could be a class. It could be a boot camp such as this. It could be a stream where you watch and you learn from the experience of other people. I really do agree. I think you have to ask yourself, what do I need to know to achieve what I want to get? Where do I want to go? And what do I need to know to reach there? And I really think that education is often the answer. It's like, you don't know what you don't know. So you really do need to reach out to the people, learn from their stories, learn from their experiences. And a lot of the times, if you have to sign up for a class, sit down, again, like Kailey said, don't think about what you know, think about what you can learn in that moment.
Yes, because this sounded so good. Put it in the chat, everyone. You don't know what you don't know. All right. All right. You don't know what Kailey's like. Yeah, exactly. I felt it. I felt it when you said, yeah. Why did you say, yeah, Kailey?
Yeah, just because I think that, especially as being a owner of a business, there's a lot of things that you don't know, but you want to always pretend that you know, but you also need to know that you got to learn as you're going. So yeah, you might have to put a front on sometimes, but at the end of the day, you better go home and research that and make sure you gave that right idea. And if not, follow up.
Sure. This would be Mischka. What steps can be taken to encourage more young women to participate in leadership roles and decision-making processes? What steps can be taken to help more young women participate in leadership roles and decision-making processes?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from, I don't think we can wait until people are, 25 to start doing these kinds of things. I think it really needs to start when you are school age, and even from the house. Like, I think your parents need to be the first ones to, like my mom always told me, even from grade school age, right? She was like, you are a leader. When the teacher's asking you for certain things, always volunteer, always sit at the front of the class. And so I think that really has helped push me ahead. And then even in the colleges and universities, the parents are the ones that are encouraging the kids, when you go off, make sure you step into these various clubs, go for those leadership roles, stretch your capacities, put yourself out there. So I think that the parental guidance is a huge piece of the puzzle, because that is the foundation of where we build identity, right? And it's from your identity and who you believe you are and what you believe about yourself that drives the trajectory of your life. And so, in my opinion, it would start first from the home.
Wow. What do you think of Virtuous about how young women can be encouraged? Like, what steps to encourage them to take on more leadership roles and decision-making processes? Yeah.
I love what Mischka said. I mean, I wouldn't have even thought of that, but I do really agree that it starts in the household. It starts at home when, if you're constantly told that you can't really achieve anything, you can't really do anything, all you need to do is just put your head down, that's going to carry towards your adulthood. That's going to carry once you go to college, once you get into the workforce, you're going to find yourself often not really taking initiative. So I think it really ties into a lot of what we've been talking about. Some of the steps is kind of to encourage other women you see. If you see a woman in your team who, is a little bit shy, ask them, what do you think about this topic we're talking on? Any thoughts, any remarks? What perspective can you bring? Really pushing and encouraging other women in the fields we're working in just to speak up sometimes, because I think as women, we do, society might tend to maybe tell us like, oh, maybe you don't need to share this. But if you really have something great to say, I think it's always think about how much you would benefit other people. Instead of keeping the thoughts to yourself, instead of keeping the great ideas you have to yourself, let those thoughts out, share those with people, and you can really benefit the team as a whole. I mean, I think you just have to encourage other people. You have to encourage the women in your family, encourage the women at work, encourage the women at the school. When you see other women doing great things, encourage them. And I feel like they would feel, that community, that love, and that comfort. Because if they know that if they speak up, someone is going to push them down, someone's going to say, that's a really stupid idea. If we really cultivate an environment, a community where people feel welcome to speak up, then more women will be able to take action and feel empowered to lead.
Kailey, what do you think?
I think it is very important to encourage young women, and there's always someone watching you. So even as a woman, wherever you're going, just trying to always act in kindness. And whether it's a little kid who might look up to you, or if it's a peer who might say, wow, I don't know how she does it, with always like smile on her face, just continue to move like with your best interest in heart, like knowing that you want to show the love to others that you felt in the past. And then just providing mentorship and support for any women that are seeking it, or maybe that are a little too shy to seek it. Take some extra time to dive into those people, because it's also important to include them. Normally they, in the situation that they are being shy, they need someone more than anything to ask them, what's your opinion? What can I do to guide you? Is there anything I can be of support for you? So.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. While you ladies were talking, I was thinking about, oh, okay, these ladies on this panel seem to be leaders already in their own rights. They know what they want and they're going for it. But we might as well have women out there, and we know that, yes, we have women out there, young women out there, your age or younger, who don't think the way you think. Maybe they've suffered too much abuse and they don't know what else to think about their self-identities. They've suffered maybe from their parents, from their family members, or just from adults in their lives, and they don't know what else to think about themselves. All this women empowerment, action, inclusion thing, well, it's far away from them. Like, it's not part of the things they think about, because Some of them are basically struggling for survival. They are struggling for survival. They are struggling with mental health, struggling with emotional situations. Like they are barely hanging on. They are barely hanging on. And here we are sitting on this panel talking, oh, women empowerment, inclusion, action. If they stumble on this video, what would you tell that sister? And I'll be asking Virtuous to start.
Thank you. Thank you really for asking this question, because my heart really goes out to those women. And it is tough, because a lot of the times, a lot of these women, you do want to achieve great things. You do want to empower yourself. You do want to put yourself out there. But when you're, barely surviving, barely hanging on, it really does feel like a problem for another time. But what I will have to say to all these women is, you can always start small. You don't need to suddenly, get on the moon. You don't need to be the first woman on the moon, but you can begin to empower yourself in little and little and little ways until you continue to grow and continue to come into yourself and into agency over your life. I always say, before you can empower other people, you need to empower yourself. So to all these women who might be struggling, might be, there's a lot of things in the world which you might feel are holding you back from really taking step and taking action as a leader. My advice to you would be, number one, empower yourself. Once you're able to take agency over your own life, then you can start to lead other women and lead other people in your communities. Yes. Look at the small ways that you might just have, I can't be bothered. I can't do anything about this. So I'm just going to live in the suffering. Think about those little ways which you might find yourself kind of not doing what you can, and think about the ways that you can empower yourself. You can take back that agency, take back that control over your life. If it's, I've always wanted to learn a new skill, that seems so small, but I really think start learning the skill. If I've always wanted to take a class on this, take that class. It might seem so small, but that action, that agency, leadership and control and accountability over your own life is going to give you the skills to then, now I know how to take this class. Now I know how to do this skill. It makes me feel like I can do so much more. I can do the next and the next and the next thing. And next thing you know you're achieving great things. You're doing more than you could have ever imagined. And you look back at yourself 3 years, and you're like, wow, that me from 3 years ago would never have imagined this. So to all those women, I really say it doesn't matter, the things that you have faced. It only matters what you can do in the future, the power that you have over your own life. And I just encourage you to take agency and take control over your life and start small, and you will achieve greatness in no time.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's for just telling us, start small and you can achieve greatness in no time. We're coming back to you, Mischka and Kailey. Who do I go with right now? Let's go with Mischka. The same question. There might be a sister out there that's listening and she stumbles on this video because maybe she saw Kailey on the show. She saw Virtuous on the show. She saw Mischka on the show. She's like, oh, let me listen. Okay. What's she talking about? And she's in that space where she's like, all of this is not within the scope of things I think about because of what I've been through. And right now I'm in the dumps. I really don't have time to think about empowerment and action and stuff like that. I'm barely surviving emotionally, psychologically, and so much is happening. Like, I'm in a maze. I don't know who I am. I'm struggling with my identity. What are you talking like? Mischka, what would you talk to that sister? How would you talk to that sister?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing that I would say is that, that might be an entire demographic of people that feel that way. There might be an entire group of women that just feel like what you were saying about just, having a past of maybe abuse or oppression. But beyond that, all of us will also go through that at some point. And so it might be your whole story. But I think at some point it will be all of our stories will go through a season like that. So we will all either go through or have been, or maybe you're in it right now, where you're just saying, this sort of, empowerment, leadership, women stepping into roles that they know they're able to do. That sort of mentality is far away from me. But I really love what Virtuous said. And I really just want to double down on what she said about taking back your personal agency, because personally, I believe that that is so critical, because like I said, whether it's just a passing season or whether it has been your life story, I truly believe that you are never too far to completely just do a 180 and to course correct your life. I think that literally you could wake up in any situation and with a little bit of thought planning, with a little bit of inspiration, with a little bit of just strategy, you could literally turn your life around. I've seen it done not only for people in my personal life time and time again, but I've also done it. I also think that every time you want to level up your life, you have to go through this same process where you're like, okay, even if it's not a dire situation, maybe you want to take things to the next level. Think about all of the women leaders that we have in our country, in our political system, in our lives. They all started from somewhere, but they wanted to level up. And I think it goes back to that same process of saying, okay, here's where I am today. Where can I be tomorrow? And I think that is rooted in personal agency, taking responsibility and saying how there has to be a path forward and stepping into that determination to get to where you want to be.
Wow. Kailey, what do you think?
I think that was very nicely said. I agree. I think that there's always going to be situations out of our control. And if you think about it like a surfer does, and you go face the ocean, it's so unpredictable. You don't know if there's going to be waves. You don't know if there's going to be huge waves that are going to knock you over. But how a surfer trains is they strengthen their core. When they're alone, they're doing exercises to make sure that they are like centered in themselves and they know what they're capable of, whether it's building their strength or building their core. So then when they go out into the ocean, they know who they are, they're true to themselves, and they're showing up to every challenge as if like, how can I approach this challenge and what can I do with it? So I think that it doesn't really matter where you start. Anywhere you start, you just have to believe in yourself, work on honing in the skills you need to strengthen your ability, show up each day. And it's not a miracle that some people have success and others don't. It's those small habits compounded every day. That'll turn into a miracle themselves. So if you want to start with one small habit that might take you 5 minutes, you could set a 5-minute timer, and every one of us can start a new habit tomorrow with 5 minutes of time. So I think we're all capable, and it's not as far as it feels.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Leaders World, brought to you by Leaders World Institute. And we have in the studio Virtuous, Mischka, and Kailey. They are women. They are young. They are leaders. They are our voices. We have loved having them, and we are at the end of the show today, and I'm wondering, how do I end this? Because it's been so empowering, it's been so inspiring, and I hope you've been putting your lessons in the chat, right in the chat. What have you learned from the leaders in our studio today? We've been talking women, empowerment, and action, and there are women who are gonna come watch this show just because they saw Mischka in the studio. Mischka, what would be your last words to our audiences at this time?
Yeah, I think my last words to the audience is, thank you for listening and tuning in. I think that one of the important things in life is just that we all connect and listen to each other and learn from each other, because I think if you're able to listen and connect with other people's stories, that a lot of times in and of itself will carve your path. So it kind of cuts out the work for you. So thank you to everyone that's listening. Good luck to all the women. I wish you the best, and I know that you will be the best in everything that you aspire to do. So again, thank you for just having me on the show today. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mischka, for choosing to hang out with us today. I'm truly grateful that you chose to do this. I know you're a very busy person. I know that because leaders are busy people. Kailey, there'll be people that are going to watch this just because they saw you on the show. And what would be your last words to our audiences?
I'm very grateful to be here today. And I just wanted to thank you for the conversation that we've had, and all the wonderful women on the panel have brought in my horizons on how I think, and I'm just glad to be here, a part of the conversation. And to anyone listening that's maybe struggling to find like a piece of hope, or like, is this where I should be, or whatever you're looking for, I think the fact that you showed up today speaks volumes, and you're doing this for yourself, and I'm happy you're here. So thank you guys for having me, and I'm happy to be here.
Kailey, it's just been amazing having you join us on this conversation. It's been so inspiring and educational, and we are hoping that we'll have greater times of greater collaboration. Virtuous, there are people that are going to come watch this just because they saw you on the show. What are you going to tell them? Your last words.
Yes, it's been such an amazing time on this panel with such powerful women achieving great things. And I would say to all these women, whether you're at the beginning of your journey, you're in the place where you really don't have any passion, any motivation, just know that there is always, an end. There is always we're stronger together. Whether you're at the beginning of that journey or you're at the end of it or you're in the middle or, at whatever step on the 3 steps you're at, you're just starting, you're getting more established or you are more established in the field. Whatever level you're at, know that we are stronger together, and women coming together and helping one another, we do great things when we work together and when we empower and include one another, and it leads to action. So my words to all the women watching this is thank you for joining us today. Thank you for watching, and go out there and empower one another, and think of another woman who you can bring up and reach out to her and be a mentor.
Oh, yes. And you can actually start right now by putting the name of just put the first name, okay? Just put the first name of a woman you think you can help with one little thing. Just show her something. Just show her a YouTube video. Just show her somewhere she can go. And yes, we're going to put the links to their businesses in the chat as well. So you can reach out to the leaders that we have on the panel for maybe further collaboration or questions. We're going to put the link to their websites in the comments as well. But I want you to put the name of a woman in the chat that you're going to reach out to and just help. Okay, help with an open mind. You might be male and you want to empower a woman. Who can you help? And maybe you want to sponsor a woman in the boot camp. Who do you want to sponsor? You can reach out to me and ask, how can I sponsor a woman in the boot camp? And I'll give you more information. It was Mischka that told us, among the great things that she told us, it was Mischka that told us, stretch your capacities. Yes, you can stretch your capacities. It doesn't matter where you are right now. You can stretch your capacities and grow. You can grow yourself. You can be that person. And also, Virtuous told us, you don't know what you don't know, right? So, that just takes us completely out of our comfort zones, thinking, oh, we've arrived. The space for growth is always bigger. It's limitless. It's infinite. You can do more. You can be more. All right. So grow yourself. And one of the ways we do that is by learning. Learn from people who have achieved. Learn from people who have gone ahead. You want to do that. And Kailey told us that small habits compound. And when you compound them every day, they will actually turn into a miracle. She said that. So what small habits do you want to start compounding? Yeah, today is a good day. It's actually a very good day, right? It's a good day to start compounding those small habits that you want to turn into a miracle. And ladies and gentlemen, we also had Mischka tell us about giving yourself permission. Listen, and I'm going to let you know that permission, you're not waiting for nobody to give you that permission, because the only person that you're waiting for is yourself. Go ahead and give yourself that permission. Go ahead, give yourself the permission for your own action, the permission for your own empowerment, the permission to cause yourself to be included by developing yourself, by increasing your capacities, by learning new skills, by developing who you are as a person. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show for today, and we'll see you in the next episode. Today has been really phenomenal. We've had amazing panelists with us, and guess what? We'll see you next time.
For your corporate and personal needs.
Leaders World Institute, changing lives, one leader at each